Where do all the horses come from? It's a question that I don't think has been answered, and I just started thinking about recently. There are so many lovely kinds of horses in the game, yet I can't find anything that tells me exactly where they're from. Let me explain myself, and then I'll talk about my theory that could answer it. Some of the breeds are tamed or domesticated versions of the horses that are native to Jorvik, like the Jorvik Warmblood and the Jorvik Pony. But what about the rest? I can't help but wonder where they all come from. Who is importing them? Where are they coming from? My first thought was that they would be brought in with a car or a truck maybe. There are plenty of horse trailers around. The problem with that idea is that Jorvik is an island, so they can't really be driven in. There's obviously some water in the way. Airplanes are used in the real world to transport horses, but clearly there are no airports or even plane runways to land on, so we can scratch that idea off the list. Boats were another possibility, but do you ever see boats leaving and coming back with horses? I don't think I ever have. In fact, I never really see any boats coming in or out in general. There is that one boat with all the ponies on it, but it never moves, so it doesn't explain much of what I'm talking about. You can always bring up the subject of magic when it comes to explaining things on Star Stable, but it isn't really suggested at all in this case. It is confirmed that one breed, the Jorvik wild horses, are magical, but they're also native to Jorvik, so we know where they come from. Again, there seems to be nothing particularly magical about the other horse sellers, so I don't think magic was exactly the way the horses got to Jorvik. For a moment, I questioned just about every source of all the different tack and clothing items that you can get, but I think you can justify that they were all made in Jorvik anyways. Often certain items are being described as made in a certain area or city or place rather anyways. The horses, however, are a completely different story. You wouldn't be able to breed an American paint horse, a Dutch warmblood, an Icelandic horse, and an Akalteki, excuse my pronunciation, all in the same place from one singular breed or type of horse. It's impossible. After all, the different breeds become the way they are, not only because of the certain traits people breed them for, but also the certain traits that happen naturally because of the environment they're raised in. For each breed to have the physical characteristics they have, they would absolutely have to have been bred outside of Jorvik. And that brings us right back to my question. Where? There aren't exactly any clues given in the game, so it's left kind of open and unexplained, but I do have some ideas. My main theory lies beyond the misty, unrevealed places on the map. The roads seem to lead outwards there, and so I assume that there are some roads in the areas, and I think perhaps in those areas there would be maybe one of two things, either an airport or a big harbor. I think that there we would actually see either boats or airplanes coming in and out of either, and cars and trucks leaving the place. I've only ever seen the outskirts of where the mapped areas are once, because I've only ever been a Star Rider once with a code that lasted a few days, so I can't really say that I know for certain if there are in fact cars or anything that drives around those areas, but again, this is just a theory. Now, when talking about Star Stable theories, you can't ignore the whole mysterious door situation. Perhaps there's some sort of underground tunneling system that connects the islands to other places. Just think of the channel in England. It's totally possible to have undersea tunnels, and they can be really, really big. Maybe these doors are for the human use of underground tunnels, and maybe there are bigger doors in the areas that are not open for players just yet, where the horses can be taken and transported as well as the people. Also, if you really wanted to, like I mentioned before, you can argue that magic is behind just about anything in Star Stable. I think that there's a chance that the horses could be given to the islanders by divine forces as a gift to combat the dark forces that are trying to take over the island. Maybe that's even a secret kept by the islanders. Could the horses be a magical gift and purposely made to seem normal and not magical? That would explain the special bond that's shared between the people of Jorvik and their horses. I'm sure if the horses were from some magic divine force, they could definitely have a potential to share a magical bond with their riders beyond what normal horses would, obviously. So that's my theory. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end. I really, really hope you enjoyed it.